want to know which planet was causing your suffering? How about Earth?
Hey everyone, Brandflex here, back with a new Eternal Return video. This video is going to be a bit different. I unfortunately could not find a win with this build, but I did get a lot of good fights, and I'm hoping that the fight quality is good enough to prove that the build has merit, this build being specifically Tank Kenneth. So what I'm going to do, in lieu of having a not complete actual game, is I'm going to just talk about the routing, the improvements, and how to play it, and also my excuses for playing it. And I guess just like at some point when I run out of things to talk about, you'll just get the rest of the gameplay to pad the video length out. So yeah, hopefully it's interesting. Just let me know if you guys enjoy this type of content, just because this will let me utilize some more games where I don't quite get a win, but it's entertaining. And there are a lot of those where you have a really good game and then something happens and you lose because you got third party at a really bad time. So yeah, going into my excuses, essentially, I don't play Kenneth. I want to play Kenneth, and I was thinking, oh yeah, Tank Luke is a thing, so let's make Tank Kenneth a thing. So that was the birth of this build. I had an actual Kenneth player try it out. They did decently. They didn't win, but they did pretty well. So I'm starting to think that this build is more of a mid-game build and doesn't really win out late because you don't have the raw power that Exodia Kenneth has. But on the bright side, it's a much more efficient budget build because you don't have to have Exodia to be efficient. And there's always a part where you can just like transition into an actual Kenneth build instead of doing what I'm doing here. So this build, again, is tank. Instead of soloing people being the king when it comes to a 1v2 situation and just not dying, instead you're the tank that has massive disruption, a lot of healing, and some pretty good damage output if you're hitting the right target. You're not really killing a tank in any good time, but you're definitely not dying to a tank, and you're also going to pressure a lot of squishies and force them to walk away from you because of how much damage you do deal, despite having no damage items on. I think the math came out to be being that you deal like 75%, not even 75, like maybe like 60% of what a regular Kenneth build does, but in exchange, you're like twice to 2.5 times as tanky due to all the healing and shielding and all the other stats you get in the build. So that's kind of the excuse for this build. Again, if you're used to playing like a damage Kenneth, what you'll find is that you're not dying even half as much, but you're not going to be killing people nearly as often, but you'll be able to hit them a lot. So it's kind of like your damage charts will be inflated because you're alive for so much longer, but you'll notice that your impact from hitting spells isn't as one-shotting massive as you would have as regular AP Kenneth. So with all that said, going into the actual route, it's going to be cemetery, oh no, it's going to be chapel into hotel into cemetery. Chapel first because Chapel, it has all of your items and it's very contested, so you want to get everything out as soon as possible. Hotel and the cemetery is just due to the hyperloops. Cemetery obviously has no hyperloop, so you have to go to hotel. And hotel second isn't the biggest deal. Chapel ends up being contested a lot for first and second zone, whereas hotel is like rarely a second zone, barely a first zoner thing, so you can go in there pretty often. And since Chapel is a pretty tight corridor of a space for a looting area, you get to hotel on good time. And then cemetery, gemstone is the main thing you're scared about not getting, but otherwise what you're really worried about is going to be your food and water options. I have found that I will always want to combine ice and orange juice, or my bad, honey. You'll always want to make at least one stack of green drinks in case you have a 4-minute long fight and you run out of SP. That has happened to me once, and I think I lost the fight because of it, but it's hard to say. Besides that, I think running Carnivore on this build over something like Animal Reaper or the other thing is good, or rather, it's endorphins, right? You don't need endorphins, you don't run out of SP unless it's a 5-minute fight, so that's what the green drinks are for. And Animal Reaper is pretty good, but I'm finding that the tempo increase from Carnivore is really helpful just because I don't have to be at the whims of people in Cemetery griefing me. But I think Animal Reaper and Carnivore are basically the same thing. On the other side of the tree, Frenzy is going to be your default. I'm going to heal a lot more on my auto options. And then in the blue tree sub-augments, you're going to be going either Cavalcade. Not Cavalcade. On the left side, essentially all of them are good. Embolden, you press W if you're good at the game, unlike me, or get the character unlike me. You press W, get a lot of defense, you're really bulky for that 4 seconds, and if you time it well, super high value. You can go Painkiller, which is what I go, because it's very automatic, brain off, whatever. And then there's also Unwavering Mentality with the ultimate, which I think should also work, but I think just the raw value of Steadfast, or no, not Steadfast, again. The raw value of both Painkiller and Embolden are probably just way higher. And second tree, if you're going to be alone, like your solo frontline, I think Cavalcade is the very, very easy option. But if there's another melee with you, I think Dine and Dash is better. And Dine and Dash does scale or does work synergistically with Carnivore. So I think Steadfast, now actually going Steadfast correctly, is not the best option. It could be okay, but you don't have EOD boots. However, I think Dynadash, again, Carnivore synergy is super insane. And then Cavalcade, if you're not going to be with someone often, is going to be a lot of damage reduced, essentially for free. So upgrades, I really want to try Juggernaut, but a lot of people don't use Mithril in these games. So I essentially never got to use Juggernaut because the Mithril was passed on to me. So I went Axe of Pengu. Essentially, Axe of Pengu is probably going to be default. If you find a million trees, then go Juggernaut, but I really doubt you're going to be able to at all. For chest piece, I think, well, chest and boots we'll go over later because there are options. But your arm piece, you're always going to rush. It's going to be solar system. This is what lets you be such an effective bait tank, letting people hit you while you're trying to engage, and it gives you so much free HP, unless you're against Luke, who breaks your shield and you cry. But Luke is pretty popular. Just try not to let him break your shield. You know, it happens. What can you do against Luke Q? For the headpiece, I think that Tac Ops / Tac Visor and then Mithril Helm are the three good options. They all CDR, they all give you HP that scales with Solar System, so go ahead and take whatever is available. If there's an extra Mithril, if there's an extra tree, use whatever you got. For the chest and boots, you have two combinations that I found that work pretty well. You have either a CDR less chest, and then you have the CDR boots, so that's going to be like Ghost Brides, that's going to be like Guardian Suit, maybe even Blazing Dress if you really want to try it, with Windwalkers, or the one that I like a little bit more because it comes with Healing Cut in the original build. It's going to be Battlesuit, which synergizes really well because you have so much effective HP, so you're going to be constantly reflecting the AoE at people. And it's going to be Blade Boots, just for the tiny increase in AP to give you a bit more value from your skills, and also the Healing Cut, consistent Healing Cut, and attack speed for everything you want to do. Obviously, this is a work in progress, so if you have your own ideas, go ahead and use them. I am trying to pioneer this, and the thing I'm afraid is that Kenneth players enjoy playing AP too much, so that they won't want to try this bruiser tank version. But I do think it's very effective. You probably just need to actually play it in the proper comp, which I obviously did not do because I was trying to just force it in ranked. So again, just a very brief overview of the playstyle. You probably see it in gameplay. You want to be the disruptor. You want to initiate, make space for your team, distract your enemies, basically soak as much damage as you can, and then see if your allies can, you know, kill the enemies and trade off enough HP for it to be worth it in the end. You're not really good peel sync like 11 is, so you have to be very aware of where your squishy character is and where the enemy assassins / divers are, so that you can block them with your E, you can use your Q to crowd control them, you can even save your ult to hold them in place. I'm not a Kenneth player, so I fail that very often. I'll probably include some fights where I fail at doing exactly that, and therefore my team loses due to that alone. So it's like another point of that the build should be pretty good. I'm just not good with the character, and I hope that putting this video out there makes people interested. So yeah, I'll let the game kind of, or the gameplay clips go on a bit longer. I'll put on the background music. And if you guys enjoy this kind of format where I explain the unconventional thing I'm doing, please let me know in the comments. And if you don't enjoy it, you'd rather just me put on a second place or a decently interesting third place, let me know. I'm happy to do whatever. I just want to put something out there for today because I took a break yesterday. Enjoy the rest of the gameplay. Are we fighting this? Yes, no. Okay. Okay. Free kill's a free kill. You'll always take that. I saw the other two long enough. Oh, wow. That was illegal. I am down. I can't help. Ah, that was bad. Okay. Game is a bit more stressful than it should be. Again, the fact that I can sustain against Vanya is really big. Okay. Yeah, I can't really tank that. Alright, someone took Omega just now. Not catching this, are we? So bad, this is so bad. Okay. Actually, I have SP here. I actually have SP. Oh my god. Oh. Oh my god. Goat. This AI, the beast. Love this. Okay. Are we poking or are we just looking for an angle here? I'm going. Please. Oh my god. We're not getting the kill here. Oh my god. So sad. Another game that could have been a win. I made a mistake again. Okay, maybe it didn't matter. I did the thing again, right? Oh my god, it's so sad.